Thank you, everyone. And before we call our distinguished panelists up to the stage, I want to just say a couple of quick words. I want to tell a new story about sustainability, because we hear this word all the time, and it sounds like, you know, decarbonization, meeting climate targets, and all of these things are incredibly important for the survival of our species and for the prosperity of our businesses. But let me make a declaration of possibility here today. Technology makes it possible, for the first time in history, for companies to be more profitable through becoming more sustainable, for countries to thrive through the same technologies that will decarbonize our planet. We have an opportunity to create an unparalleled, rich, and prosperous future. And so that's a very easy thing to say, not so easy to do. But that's why we're here gathered today. And so I would love to welcome our distinguished panelists onto the stage to have a conversation about the intersection of technology and sustainability. Welcome to the stage. Can we get a hand? So let's just start out with a very, very basic question. What is sustainability? It kind of means a lot of things to a lot of different people, but what does it mean to you, Luke?
Well, thank you, Will, for the very simple and at the same time very complex first question. Well, sustainability means basically working all together so that whatever we do today can be done by our children, or can be perpetuated in the long-term future in a way that preserves our environment and continues to develop mankind in a sustainable way. That's our understanding, my understanding, and we are very much committed to that.
Mr. Naif, what do you think?
For me, I think sustainability is broader. I think sustainability is broader than environment. It's about maintaining our current needs without compromising the future of our children, grandchildren, and how they are utilizing the future and the earth resources too.
Very succinct and very powerful. Abdullah, what are your thoughts?
Sure. Well, it's a simple question, but the answers may vary. For me, is sustainability working to make sure that the planet is a better place in the future than what it is today. We have a mandate to make sure that the next generations enjoy what we're enjoying today and even better. Doing this through maintaining the environmental aspects of sustainability, the social, as well as the governance which maintain the sustainable economy.
And since you're talking, the next question's already for you. So when we think about the opportunities of fusing business and sustainability and technology, especially as it relates to energy and the core economic pillars of the kingdom and of the Middle East, what is the biggest opportunity today that we can tackle?
Absolutely. I think we in the telco and in the ICT sector at large, we have a great opportunity to make an impact. We have here today from the CEO of Ericsson, Mr. Bouredi, that the industry contributes 1.4, 1.5 to the carbon emission. That's not big. But on the other hand, the multiplier effect, the indirect effect that we can contribute as an industry to reduce the carbon emission is significant. All what we do in our daily operations and also in the investment that we do is basically making people's life easier, creating the digital economy, which I would say by design is a carbonless economy. The moment we start doing our business remotely, whether on the different verticals, the health, the entertainment, the education, that's by design reducing commuting. That's also by design reducing the use of some natural resources like papers and others. So the industry plays a critical role to help every other industry to achieve in its carbon emission reductions and reaching to the net neutrality carbon.
No, absolutely. Now, Luke, Schneider Electric is one of the textbook examples of sustainable transformation. At the top of the Corporate Knights 100 for a couple years in a row, putting sustainability at the core of your business model. And so can you tell me a little bit from that perspective, as a leader in this new era, what do you think the biggest opportunities are for profitable sustainability going forward?
What I can share probably is a little bit of our journey, because we started this journey in sustainability back 20 years ago as really a belief of the company that it was our responsibility as a company to act in a sustainable way. So we were proud, and this is a big responsibility now to have the Corporate Knights recognition, to continue to try to lead by example and to apply on ourselves whatever we preach. So that's been step one. The second step is clearly that the last 20 years I've been bringing a lot of technologies, and we are a tech company ourselves. So we really wanted to develop the technologies, mixing energy management capabilities and digital, so that coming together, they bring an opportunity for anyone who uses energy, which is the entire Earth, to make the best of that. So first, trying to avoid to spread energy when it's not needed.
Right.
And that's the first one. I mean, we are spreading energy everywhere where it's not needed. And when you start to measure, this is where digital comes, you measure, you control what you are spending. So that's step number one. And step number two, as renewables are coming in the mix, both at a central generation capability and a decentralized capability close to the user, now we have a much cleaner electricity. And electricity is taking a growing share of how energy is used. All the mix of that creates an entire new world of possibilities, which we are in. This is just starting now, and this is what brings probably the best news of possibilities for the near future, and probably for our children as well.
But to accomplish all of that, you have to have the technology that enables you to measure all of these things remotely, to understand the state of your systems, and of course, the connectivity that brings all of these things together. So Mr. Naif, what do you think about the role of the ICT industry in bringing about this decarbonized future?
I think so far, ICT sector is not becoming a luxurious sector anymore. It's a sector that contributes immediately for every sector in the country. So after COVID, if you see that CITC are contributing in the health sector, in agriculture, and so on and so forth. If I want to simplify it, I will say it's ICT can contribute in two ways. The first one, in a direct way, by connecting and unconnected. For example, ensuring that connectivity are everywhere in every piece in the world, in each region, so that people can get access for information and have right to use technology. And the second way is the indirect way, by utilizing innovative solutions to distribute business models. For example, e-schools, e-health, using innovative solutions like IoT, AI, in order to support another sectors. I think this is, in brief, how ICT can support. I read a very interesting article says that ICT can contribute more in saving the environment and sustainability from contributing in the ICT itself.
Mr. Abdullah, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I would say the sustainability contribution in an industry, and in ICT in particular, it is something that can be achieved way easier by the partnership. Talking about the regulator, the telecom players, the vendors, the manufacturers, the non-profit organizations, the associations all over the world. Because on this specific area, it is about how do we measure our journey, how do we set the right targets, and how do we incentivize it. You have said well in your introduction, it used to be sustainability used to be a buzz statement, but I think now it's proven that it also have an impact on the good business. That could have been even amplified if the whole ecosystem have worked together to really achieve that multiplier effect on the economy and on the environment. regulators and policymakers definitely have a role to encourage good behaviors when it comes to the sustainability. Just like when they are encouraging the right investment, encouraging the proper customer experience, I think this is something that can be played very well. Operators, whether on the telecom or in the IT, can also play a role with the suppliers, with the vendors. I think having a preference to the equipment that contributes to less damage to the environment, part of the technical evaluation, part of the commercial evaluation, will have the whole value chain and ecosystem work in the same direction. I think it started happening. We have already seen the session we are in today, and I would say probably on every single event that I have seen in the recent months, whether in the ICT and others, sustainability comes in the agenda. And when you listen to people talking about it, you start realizing that there are roots in it. It's not just statements.
Yeah. I see you nodding your head in agreement. Do you have anything that you wanted to add to that?
Yeah, of course. Well, I think this is sustainability must be the result of a mobilization that is coming across all stakeholders, and everyone has a contribution to sustainability. We are a tech company, we want to contribute the best technology. Other companies can contribute as well for their own commitments. You know, we have representatives of very large companies here who have their own commitment and a very big drive on the kingdom. So clearly this is very important. Of course, governments as well have a role to play.
And speaking of governments, you know, public-private partnerships, the collaboration within and across industries and, you know, governmental organizations are absolutely key. And I think things like the Saudi Green Initiative, for instance, is a prime example to the world of what can be possible when a government and industry work together. And, you know, I'm curious, Mr. Naif, why don't we start with you? You know, what is it that the world can learn from some of the things that are happening with the kinds of public-private partnerships that you're seeing?
Before I answer the question, I would like to redefine what is sustainability. Sustainability is not environment. Sustainability is about economy, equity, and also, of course, environment. Only last year, from ICT perspective, around 6 million tons of electric waste have been generated globally. So a complexity is raising with a threat everywhere globally. So because of that two reasons, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, since announcing the vision in 2030, they embedded sustainability in each program, project, and initiative. Also, if you see an example of NEOM or the line, you will figure out that the cornerstone of sustainability of these projects is sustainability. Recently, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and His Royal Highness have been announcing Green Middle East and Green Saudi as initiatives. These two initiatives understand that we cannot work alone as a government. It's require a partnership between governments, and every single person on the planet is responsible about the sustainability. We are aiming to plan about 10 billion planet. We are trying to increase protected area by 30%. And we are trying to lower the emission carbon by 6% globally by 2030.
No, absolutely. Luke, what are some of your thoughts on this? Because I know that this is a key topic for you.
Well, I think Saudi Green Initiative is a great initiative, and frankly, I'm looking at this as both an ambitious and realistic plan for the kingdom,
right?
Which is really something that we as Schneider want to contribute to in our role as a technology company. And you know, coming back to the balance of who should do what in the sustainability journey, I love very much your introduction saying that technology enables now sustainability. The truth is that sustainability is achieved when everyone makes the steps in the right direction. And the great news of today, if we all want to work so that this decade, which is probably the last one where we can take action, is not the last decade, is that everyone converged to this kind of objective. The great news is, as you said, technology enables it in a way that sustainability becomes not a pain that is imposed by governments on companies, this is an objective which is economically rational for everyone, which is facilitated by governments, and where corporates take large initiatives and can also drive initiative. Yeah. I think we are starting to see this everywhere. The Saudi Green Initiative is the demonstration of that, and that's providing a very good leap to this. And frankly, I'm hoping to contribute to that as a company and to help the kingdom make that leap.
I think you make a really good point that we have to get something done this decade, not just because we have to cut emissions globally 50% by 2030, but because there's a series of technological cost curves that are converging. In the same way that certain things made the iPhone possible in 2007, we have a huge number of new types of technology that are coming together to enable a new and prosperous future. And as you were saying, this used to be hard, right? This used to be a really difficult problem, but guess what, folks? We've been through digital transformation, and the same tools that helped us transform our companies for a world dominated by software can be the same tools that we use to navigate into a sustainable future. But, and here's the big but, not every company has gone through digital transformation at this point. So, is that it then? Or is there an opportunity for every company, every country, regardless of their digital maturity, to achieve this possibility? And Abdullah, what are your thoughts?
Well, digital transformation for me is a survival thing. It's not anymore luxury. We have been talking about it for years, but I think the matter of fact is, if you're not transforming, you probably will be looking for another business to start.
Right.
So the good thing is, again, as I said, the digital transformation leads to a carbonless operations. The maturity in the industry and the innovation and the accelerated path of new technologies have made it even more easier for organizations to transform. If they are not transforming, then probably they will not be exist in the future. The good thing here in it is, while thinking of the digital economy, it is already taking the path towards better contribution to the society, better contribution to the governance, which is the third pillar of sustainability. The beauty of the digital transformation is hitting on the three verticals of sustainability. I just talked about the environmental. I think on the society, by connecting people who are not connected, by facilitating their lives. And a big aspect of it is on the governance. The more you digitize your operations, the more you control how things are run in the organization. And this is where you can assure a future economy existence of the organizations.
No, absolutely. Mr. Naif, did you have any thoughts on that?
I agree with Abdullah. Digital transformation is very important, and it's not a luxury anymore. If any organization decides not to go toward that journey, they will cannot survive within a couple of months, not years. And I think sustainability is coming along soon, especially after COVID, and it will be something that is very essential for every organization to adapt.
So one of the things that we sometimes let go by the wayside in this talk about the energy transition is that it's a transition. While we have seen that renewables are in many places the cheapest cost of power all around the world, we need to make sure that the transition to the new world is a stable one, or else we'll take one step forward and 15 steps back. And so how do we think about striking that right balance between moving aggressively and boldly towards a more sustainable, renewable future, but not creating problems along the way by trying to make a sudden break? I mean, what are your thoughts on that, Luke?
Well, I think the movement is already engaged and is moving actually quite fast. And I really believe that, there will not be an opposition between the world we are in and the world in the future. There will be a coexistence, a transition.
Yes.
And the actors that are playing in the world of today are going to play in the world of tomorrow. If I take one example, We work with all majors of oil and gas in the world. Most of them have engaged in digitization first,
right,
in renewables now, first tackling, the part of carbon that is spent for the extraction, which is not useful for the end use, and this is already 10 to 15%. I mean, if we can tackle this 10 to 15% by being more efficient, thanks to digital and renewables in the extraction phase, we are winning, of course. They are winning, we are winning. So that's just an example of this migration. Same, I just want to come back on your point on people enablement. That's one of the aspects of sustainability. That's one of our commitments, training to new digital capacities. Of course, large companies, they do the journey on their own. But you have hundreds of thousands of people, single-handed companies with just one person, electricians, they need training. Right. That's part of our commitments as well. And that's by lifting up the game of everyone like that in every country that we manage this transition. There is no opposition, I really believe.
That is such, go ahead.
Just to add on this, I mean, in my view, no matter how aspirational or fast we do it, we're not fast enough. The damage that people have caused on the planet in previous years mandate that we act very fast.
Yes.
The visions and the commitments that have been put to reach the carbon neutrality by some nations on 2050 or 2060 is still a journey. I mean, we still have decades to live through this transition between the legacy source of energy to the new energy sources. So I do not see an issue of moving fast. Let's push as much as we can.
And in fact, it may happen faster than we've ever imagined. Technology has a way of moving faster than we ever thought. But you brought up a really good point around people. And when you look at, I can't remember what survey this was from, but one of the top reasons why implementations of new technologies fail are because the people on the front lines can't use them, aren't trained to use them, and they haven't really been integrated with the education that's needed and the people development. And I'm wondering, as Mr. Naif, how do you think about the digital skills building that's necessary to achieve a sustainable future?
I think when it comes about digital transformation, we are a bit set right now. Everyone understands the value that have been created from digital in the first place. We move it from win-lose to win-win, so that everyone understands that technology is contributing, is increasing efficiency, saving money, making our life easier. From that perspective, everyone has been starting adapting technology in a very good way. I think when it comes to sustainability, on the other hand, it's very important for us to change the mindset, to ensure that sustainability is not about the cost, it's not about an extra effort, it's about the future of our generation, it's about saving cost, it's about providing a better quality of life for everyone.
No, absolutely. So in the last few minutes that we have left here, I would love to get the perspective from each of you about what are your recommendations to business leaders of today who may be in the audience, thinking about what should I do after I walk out of this room to transform my business for sustainability, and also to those people who may be leaders of the future. What guidance can you give them? What inspiration can you bring to this? And we'll just go down the line, starting with you, Luc.
So I'll be very short by saying my advice is look at sustainability not as a constraint, but as a business opportunity for your business, because it is a business opportunity for your business. There is no business that can be lasting and flourishing without being sustainable. So that's just not theory, that's the reality. And the key enabler of this business opportunity is technology, digital, and notably enabled by digital. And of course, people is key. So I would start by hiring millennials. Yeah. These guys are gifted much beyond what our generation has been, to be able to embrace both the objective of sustainability and the ability to master the tools that is going to make sustainability an achievable goal.
I think it's such a good point that sustainability is the biggest business opportunity perhaps in history. What are your recommendations? What's your inspiration?
Well, I would agree with what has been said, but to be practical, pragmatic, I think it is time for every organization to embed sustainability on everything that's been done inside the organization, the policies, the processes, the DNA of the organization. I think the world have been talking about it for years, and that was at the, I would say, the helicopter view level. Now it's time to go and see in everything that we do, what is it that we should be doing to be more responsible to the environment and society we work on. I'm sure every organization have a clear set of policies, processes that can be changed. And also if we put it inside the individuals, inside the organization as a belief, I'm sure that there will be a lot of ideas, initiatives, and KPIs that can come up from bottom up. So unless we put a way to measure it, unless we engage together as an industry and the ecosystem, agreeing on how are we going to achieve and measure, then we'll be achieving the whole objectives of the sustainability.
Absolutely. Mr. Naif.
Okay. For me, I think sustainability have proven its value through the tough time of COVID-19. So I will move it from a recommendation to invitation. So from the heart of the world KSA to Europe and America and Asia, we are delighted in KSA to invite everyone to be part of our sustainability journey. And I think that if we work together, we will not leave someone behind.
No, absolutely. So in closing, I'll just say that technology is easy. Sustainability is easy. People are hard. Changing behavior is hard. But I'll tell you a secret. Listen closely. The secret is what these three gentlemen are doing up here today, standing up and speaking out for the future. Speaking out for future generations and setting an example for the rest of the world and the industry to follow. Because when you do this, you don't just set an example for them, you change the behavior of others in the system. Be the change you want to see. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.